I'm starting to go absolutely insane and I need you guys' help on the internet. So, I've been playing on my iPhone 16 Pro Max in remote play using HDR. And the phone looks so much better than the LG C4 and any other TV I've ever seen, man. I've seen TVs be calibrated. I've seen how it looks when it's accurate. Professional calibration using CalMan, man. I've seen that. But using true tone, no reduced blue light or anything, just true tone mode on my iPhone 16 Pro Max. And I play on the phone and I look from the phone and then TV, phone, TV. And what I see is the LG C4, no matter what you do, will be incredibly teal in the tint. So green and blue. And not just that, when you're in HDR on the PS5, on the LG C4 specifically, you will have a blue tint that covers most of all colors and dilutes the entire image frame, even when in warm 50. So I've sat now for 3.5 hours with my eyes trying to calibrate the TV. This is never a good thing to do. It's never gonna work out. In the end, you're just gonna mess up the image. But I've tried to make it as good as possible. So what I saw, I'm gonna use reference points, right? I look at the ground here, it's supposed to be brown. I look at right here, how clear does the image look? Does it look all that black on these branches? And then you have the mid-tones not looking too flat. And then I look at this building right here. It needs to look brown, rotten wood, old, wet type shit. It needs to look old and run down. And even with these settings I have right now, they look blue and still teal green. So teal, I think that's the T-E-A-L, teal. I don't know how to pronounce it, but the color teal is what I'm talking about. It still doesn't look great. It doesn't look even close to how it looks on the iPhone. And no matter how high the max brightness goes on the TV, the iPhone kills it instantly. Full screen brightness, highlights, so much better on the phone. I can't showcase this on YouTube, but I can show you how normal warm 50 calibration that I used to recommend to everyone, and how the calibrators, HDTV test and gaming tech, everyone says warm 50. Now I'm gonna show you how warm 50 looks. And you're gonna be surprised. Look at the display. When I go from my fake phone calibration that I've done looking from the phone back and forth to normal warm 50. There is no trickery going on here. This is warm 50. This is the calibration that the purists on the web tell you to use. I can tell you, as a calibrator myself, this is not even close to how it's supposed to look. It's a fact that iPhone displays when using true tone is calibrated from factory. They have a super fine grain detail type, how do I say this in English? Like the displays are super exact on how they're manufactured. They are the exact same most of the time. So all of the displays, the panels on the phones, are correctly the same with the calibration when using true tone. So why aren't the TVs the same? Because you can use warm 50 and the color shift will deviate from being too green, to blue, to orange. You get it, you get the idea, right? The tint will deviate. Even if you go warm 50, it won't look as warm 50 as my TV might look. But you have the exact same TV, the exact same size, everything. But it doesn't look exactly the same with the color fringing because of deviations from the factory manufacturing. But the iPhones are 100% accurate all the time with True Tone. So that begs the question, is it the TV? Or is it the PS5 sending a blue black and beige tint to all games, just ruining everything? Or is it just that the warm 50 is actually, it's better kinda than like 0 on the color balance? White balance. But no, I don't think so actually. I think warm 50 is just diluting the image. Because the thing is, what we've done here is, on Game Optimizer, and this will look a little weird now because the eyes have to compensate. But now we have brown here again. we have these looking more orange, yellow, red. And the same thing when we turn around and we look at this building right here. I can still see a blue, not a blue tint, but the texture itself looks blue. That's the thing that I'm talking about. On the phone, it looks like wet, dry blue, like walnut colored. But not on the TV. It looks blue, wet like the ocean. It looks super weird. And then I go back to Cinema Home and there is, I would say there is zero pigment of brown here. The pigmentation of this building is teal. It's green and blue, man. It looks absolutely shit. This is supposed to be warm 50. This doesn't look like warm 50. This looks green and blue. There is no sun here, man. There is no sun. It's clouds. It should be overcast. The snow should be white. And you know what? On the phone, it's the purest of white I've ever seen, man. It's so white. And looking at this looks horrible. So now we go back to my newer calibration. That looks a lot more white. So much more white, in fact, that I'm beginning to, like, I'm confused. What is actually accurate anymore? I don't even know myself. Because the thing is, when you look on the phone, you can see that the mud here looks super brown and clean. And you have a lot more color saturation on like all colors. All colors looks boosted and lifted like crazy. It looks really vibrant on the phone. But it also looks super realistic. Just like colors from normal light bulbs and stuff looks in my room, looks like in the game. In this case it's torches, but you get the idea. So, what is the deviating factor at most here? What is the biggest issue? Well, the screen becomes green and way too blue, not cold. Forget about the whole cold, too cold, blah blah blah. No, it's just blue. There is a blue filter on top of every single texture infringement on the TV. We go here, and now we don't have as much of that blue. Here, this is too blue. The backgrounding here, it's supposed to be slightly green tinted. That's supposed to be on this art style. Here, we have too much of the blue from the fog. And the biggest issue that I see here is, if the image is slightly too blue and slightly too green tinted all the time, when you have this blue fog in a game, you will have that blue fog, but it will be overly blue and green on top of the blue-green tinted fog from the beginning. So the entire image will be diluted with a blue-green tint that is not supposed to be there because it's not clear and it's an OLED. This looks really clean. This looks really good, but it's just a small framing. I think all of these post arts look really good. And I'm gonna be completely honest now, I'm gonna switch back to Cinema Home. Yeah. It's not the end of the world, but it looks so much worse. It's so much worse. It's like a 20% deviation from looking accurate. And people say 150 is accurate. Man, on the phone, this right here does not look green, teal colored, and this looks super gray, desaturated. This looks yellow, red, warm orange, like it's glowing almost. It's impactful. The yellow here on Helldivers logo looks impactful. The thing on the neck here of Sly Cooper looks very yellow, orange, looks great. This looks more gold colored. And no, not on the TV. It looks desaturated, flat, and it lacks the gray tint and the warmth to it on the same time. So what I've tried to do is, I've tried to manipulate the image to get closer to looking like how it looks on the phone. I will give you the settings, just because you might be intrigued to try this out for yourself, and that's totally fine. But just know, it is not close to how it is on the phone, because on the phone, it's still more magenta gray looking than what it looks on the TV. It's more blue still and green. I can't get rid of the blue and the green. I've tried everything. But that doesn't matter for now. Okay, we're gonna go into Game Optimizer. I'm gonna give you the settings, and if you guys know how to fix this, please tell me in the comments. If you find a fix for it, tell me in the comments, because this is ruining my experience now. I've seen perfection, and I can't unsee it. I use dynamic tone mapping. That does not produce the blue-green tint. I've checked back and forth. Expression enhancer, just because the midtones are too lifted on this TV. No matter what you do, they look a little lifted. Detail on the expression enhancer will dial back that lift, so it looks more clean and clear in the image. If you for 1 second think full or auto on PS5 is better, you're a crackhead on crack, man. You're a crackhead on crack. Look how freaking damp the image looks, and then it looks so much more clean and OLED black. Now you will lose some black level detail. Nobody has ever said, ever, that you will have every single dark level detail preserved when you have the correct signal. There is no such thing. You can't have a display and you can see every single thing in the dark, whilst it's also accurate dark. It's not a thing. Limited, please don't pick full. You'll be limiting the entire screen contrast ratio, basically cutting it in half. Limited is important to be able to even get close to the color accuracy that the TV can get. Motion eye carries for me. You don't have to care about that one. Color gamut, auto detect. However, I have noticed, looking at the ground here, we talked about it being brown on the phone and blue-green on the TV, which is silly. What I noticed is, Adobe RGB, I turned that on, the snow becomes even less blue, and it became a little bit more brown, but we lose color punch from colors. So much so that I would say it's not worth changing this from auto detect. If you go native, this becomes magenta, pink, blue now, and it dilutes the image even further. So don't go native, by God's sakes. Go auto detect or Adobe RGB, but know that Adobe RGB will be desaturated with the warmer colors. Fine tune, this is important, man. You're gonna go user selection, you're gonna go blue, and you're gonna go -15 on saturation. You don't have to change anything else there. Then white balance, we're gonna warm 10. That's what I've tried for now. It might be better to go even colder because the phone looks slightly colder than this, but I couldn't get the colors to deviate close enough to the phone. So I'm doing warm 10. Low point, -50 on blue and green. And high point, we want to go -20 on green, -50 on blue. I'm gonna make sure that high on super resolution, and then the most important settings are inside of the Game Optimizer. And I will try to explain these settings as much as I can, but it's gonna be hard. Okay, number 1. 25 on sharpness adds a little bit of edge detail where it was none before. So it's gonna make it look closer to a native 4K image resolve. It won't be closer to a native image resolve, but that's where I wanna go. 25 is also the peak value before you get color banding issues with the sharpness contrast. So 25, you can go 28 if you want more, but nothing in between there will work properly. You will get color banding. These TVs are super bad for color banding. It's completely broken, the posterization issues are insane. We have PVM flicker, which is absolutely horrible for the eyes. We have dithering pattern that I'm gonna make a video on soon, which also is the glitch lines which you get on the screen, which is made to, from what I gathered from LG, the dithering pattern is there to remove color banding. But we have the most color banding on any TV on the market, and we now have also the dithering pattern ruining image quality. LG, do better. Okay, enough of sharpness. That's what I recommend, 25. I think everything below that looks slightly blurry, even at 4K native. Now, this will not show off on camera, but it's important that you understand. 50 is the accurate intent. That's what everybody says. But, okay, explain then to me how everything looks blue tinted, and when I go down one step, the black level goes down a little bit. No. The black level goes down a little bit. Like, just wrap your head around that for a second. It looks like the gamma goes from 2.2 to 2.4 almost. You can see it in real life and not on camera. When you look at something that's close to black, it becomes darker. And you can also see how this blue tint turns off completely. Something is definitely super wrong here with the color gamut or the gamma. I don't know what it is. But I've talked to some people in the community on Reddit. And it seems to be a thing that it happens on all the C4 and C3 and C2 models. So I don't know what this is, man, but this is super cracked. And black level. This is also. I'm gonna switch game to Dead Island, because that's the only game that I can show this off in from my mind that I know that I can show this off in. Okay, so we're gonna go into this game. I'm gonna show you the deviation that I'm talking about. This is also a game where I saw very clear issues with the TV compared to the phone when you look back and forth. Okay. And now, guys, just understand. If you love your TV, that's totally fine. You don't have to change anything. If you're already happy, just look at this video for fun. It's totally fine. But know that it could look so much better. And this is not a end-all be-it, fix-it mode. This is just trying to make it better than what it is right now. Because the deviation in color accuracy is absolutely horrible. Like, the phone looks, I would say, 300x better for realism's sake. It looks like I'm looking at a screen, a window almost. Like, it looks really good. I think the contrast ratio is a lot higher and the nits is a lot higher on the phone. That also helps, but the color accuracy is insane. So, right here, this bad boy right here is blue like crazy on this TV. But no. Look at this. We go cinema home, and now it's green, blue, and it looks cold. And on the phone, you would be surprised to hear when I say that this is not blue at all. It's just pure white. You can see all the details and highlights and everything in it, so it's not pure white, you get the idea. But there is zero blue on the phone. Now it's super blue. I don't know how it looks on the camera, but it's super blue. This entire wall here is supposed to be like beige warm color, and on the TV it looks green, cold, warm, mixed type stuff. Like, I don't even know. The color you have here is the color you're supposed to have there. That's the deviation issue that we're having here. Like, it's a big issue. So we're gonna switch back. And it still isn't even close to how it's supposed to be. So we're gonna go over here and we're gonna look at the ground, and you're probably not even seeing this, are you? No, you're not. Let's see, there we go. Okay, so what we're looking for here is, we essentially have the brightest of colors here on the ground, and then it fades to darker. Now the TV has a lot of issues with color banding, so it's not going to be as smooth of a transition. We're going to get lines here. Now we don't see the lines, but they are there. Don't think for a second that they are hiding. Now we go to cinema home, and this fade stops to become even more aggressive on the eye. So the fade now goes from here, it slates out like so, and then it cuts right here. However, we're not supposed to see this hard cut right here. We are supposed to see this fade go and disappear about here, but we can see it going all the way here and hard cutting, like hard clipping right there. Something looks odd. So with the settings that I use, instead of normal warm 50, we get a more clean fade. We don't see it as aggressively hard clipping the fade or whatever. Let's see, where is the... So how I managed to realize most of the things that I've changed here is I did check for everything. Midtones, how the gamma looks. I checked for how gray the gray looks. And I've probably diluted a lot of stuff with these settings. So the settings fixed the floor. They fixed how dark the darkness looked here. We run out here and we look right over here. And I saw a really weird issue. Depending on what the white stabilizer and black stabilizer is, the image will look super weird with this backgrounding here. So, in Resident Evil Village, so that it looks as close to the phone's gamma as possible, we would have to go plus 12 here, or even plus 15. But that's gonna dilute the entire image and wash everything out in this case. We're gonna do plus 12. Let's see here. I'm just gonna check why it's looking 45 is for the floor on the black level, so black level 45. 49 is to remove that on the color depth. 49 is to remove the... There's a lot of stuff that I have to think through when I do this video, and it's a hassle. It becomes like I'm tangling my brain with a rope almost. That's how it feels. But somehow I'm not seeing the issue here that I saw before, which is also a little alarming, I want to say. Something has changed. Maybe it had to do with this. Yeah, okay, so there it is. Now I can see it. I'm gonna zoom in on that so that you guys can see as well. Sorry guys, I didn't know there was that bad. Okay, there we go. So, let's see. Yes, you can clearly see it. Nice. Okay, so I want you guys to look right here. And we're looking at the fog that is in the air. It looks a little washed out, a little diluted, and on the phone it looks super clear. Like I can't even see the fog on the phone. It's that clear with the contrast. And on the TV, we take black stabilizer down 2 clicks. Just 1 click here. Can you see that difference of how much better the contrast looks? And then when we dial it down even more, it becomes even clearer. That's how it looks on the phone. But sadly, the rest of the image becomes too dark now. So this is also something that is messed up on this TV. You can see 10 looks broken, 9 doesn't look broken. But it still looks horrible compared to everything else. It's super weird, and now it's not doing the thing anymore. It's super weird, man. I don't understand how this is happening, honestly. I have to do a lot more testing before I actually go out and recommend anyone to use these settings. Because I don't even personally know what is the best setting right now. I'm a little confused, to be fair. I don't really understand what's going on with the TV. I just know that something is really, really, really wrong with how LG has calibrated their TVs. Let's see, let's do it like that. There we go. There we go. Dial that down to around there. Okay. So I don't know how to fix this. I really want to fix it. I am going to look into maybe purchasing a calibrator to come here and do a professional calibration. But I'm scared that he's gonna calibrate the screen and it's not gonna be the same type of calibration that the phone has. I like how it looks on the phone. Gray looks like gray. We don't have any dilution of colors. But on the TV it looks really bad. My cheap $800 Philips LCD looked exactly like this with the blue tint. Why haven't I noticed it until now? It's because I saw how good it looked on the phone and then I realized, wait a minute. This looks really bad. So yeah, is it absolutely horrible? It kind of depends on who you're asking. I would say yes. I think it looks really bad compared to the phone. And LG OLED will be even worse. And the Sony will be even worse than that. So no matter what TV you have, it won't be better, honestly. I could see maybe how a professional calibration could fix this. But the thing is, the measuring tool will only really care about the high point, I feel. So you can do a high point calibration, but the low point won't be accurate from how the calibration tool looks at the image. And I'm scared that that might not come across. So that when you're looking with your eyes on the TV, you can't have cold and warm at the same time, deviating depending on the scene. So if it's a cold scene like in Resident Evil, it's gonna look cold, like cold 30, but accurate intent with color, snow blue, all of that. And when it's warm, it's gonna look more warm, like in Dead Island it's gonna look more warm, orangey, but not orange, because it's not gonna be diluted with a fringing effect. But right now, as it stands, these settings are the best settings to make sure that it's closer to how it looks on the iPhone. But we have another issue, and that's the settings that I just outputted into my TV, that I put in. Those settings are not going to translate to be the exact same as it is on your TV. So you might get more of a green-orange tint when you do these settings than I did. And then it's not going to look as good as it does for me. But understand the philosophy. There is some kind of blue happening here. I'm going to see if the camera is even capturing this. Oh yeah, the screen looks very blue on the, on the recording. So that's good. Now it looks more correct. Now it looks more like it looks for me, I would say. So you can see the entire screen has a very slight like green tint to it, like the warm 50 tint. And this is with my settings. So if we change it to the normal warm 50, it's not gonna become gray like it's supposed to be. It's gonna become a lot more teal green. You can see it clearly. Like don't mess with me, man. You can see it clearly becoming teal blue green. It looks really bad. So don't use warm 50. I would rather recommend you use these settings because it looks a lot closer to gray. It's more beige, but the iPhone looks more beige as well. So I'm trying to match how it looks. If you guys have any good tips on how to remove this HDR gamma issue glitch or whatever on PlayStation and get it to look like it looks on the phone when I play on remote play, that would be amazing. But for now, I think it's just how the TV is calibrated from factory, and it would maybe be fixed if a calibrator came over to my house and did a professional calibration. From what I've tried, and I'm not using any Kalman tool, I won't be able to make it look perfect because I can't remove the blue tint. It's just something is wrong with the TV, how it's operating with the signal from the PS5. It cannot remove the blue tint, no matter what I do. There is a slight blue black oil rays tint in all games, and I can't get rid of it, and it just dilutes the other colors like green. And if you're already playing a game that already has a lot of black oil rays blue, you will see that blue being even more abundant. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys understand that this video is a little in-depth, and it's a little hard to understand from time to time. But I really want you guys to just understand that the TV can look better. It's not supposed to look like this, but it's not the end of the world if you are not really mad about it and you don't really care. This was just an informative like video for you, and it doesn't really matter. It's more for the calibration junkies out there that care about the color accuracy. I just want to get this out of my system because I've been really heavily hating on this mentally, personally, and I want this to be fixed. I really would love to have my OLED TV looking like the OLED phone that I have. But it's possible that the Super Retina XDR display that I have on my phone, that OLED is just so much better that it's not even comparable. But it's phone sized, so it's cheaper and blah blah blah. You get the idea. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.